Welcome to Classic Homesteading Practices, everyone. And today we are going to keep going into episode 2 of animal behavior, specifically with pigs. We are going to be discussing about innate or natural and learned behaviors, different social behaviors, fighting behaviors, and behavior in case of danger or peril. We are going to be reading from the book Farm Animal Behavior, Characteristics for Assessment of Health and Welfare by Ingvar Akesbo. I'm here to help you get through the nitty-gritty of a college book and make it make more sense, so you, as a farmer, as somebody handling these animals, can have an easier time doing so with learning the behaviors of these animals. Right before we get into this, I just have a couple announcements. I'd like to thank everybody here for listening to my episodes on CHIP, and I wanted to let everybody know that if you would like to help the channel grow, I have opened up my PayPal at Classic Homesteading for any kind of donations to help with purchasing any new material, any material for projects in the future that are going towards this channel. And I thought that would be just an option to open up. This is by no means me asking you for money. That's not what I want. I want you to just enjoy this, and if you feel compelled to give or you wish to, that is a resource for those people. Now that I've gotten that awkwardness out of the way, let's go ahead and start learning. We're going to start at 2.2, innate and learned behavior. And just for anybody who doesn't know what innate means, it means natural, born with instinctual behavior that is coming from the animal. And examples of innate behavior are the sow bedding or nesting behavior before parturition or giving birth, piglets' behavior to perform urination and defecation away from the nest. Pigs will quickly learn if more information can be obtained by exploration. The pig's ability to learn from experience, memorize, and combine new memories with previously available information is astounding. Pigs can learn to distinguish between a familiar and an unfamiliar person by relying on various cues, including the color of their clothing. Pigs quickly learn to manipulate devices, for example, the Edinburgh football, in order to get feed or to discriminate between food sites, choosing the one with more food or less difficulty to access. So basically, the Edinburgh football is a test to share how quickly an animal is able to get to the path of least resistance to food or something that they want. And this is a really good test to see how quickly animals are able to pick up on problem solving, which is really amazing to show when it comes to learning new things. Also, it's pretty amazing to see how these animals have built-in behavior, making sure that they have a cleanly and hygienic area to lay in, and then also knowing from the very beginning, from birth, that they're able to just urinate and take care of their business outside and away from the actual pig nest. 2.3. Different types of social behavior. This is going to be at the perspective of the wild boar. Pigs are gregarious animals and spend most of their lives in groups. So gregarious means they are group animals. However, these groups do not usually consist of large numbers of animals. Wild boars establish herds, which mostly consist of 2 to 4 sows and their offspring from the previous years. It seems as if the bond between the sow and her offspring remains even after the offspring have reached adult age. The young boars stay in the sow herd until about 1 to 2 years, and thereafter they abandon these groups since they have great difficulties in competing with the older boars. So, ladies stay together, gentlemen leave once they become of sexual maturity, basically. Because after this happens, they are not able to contest with the older boars for any females in the herd. And that's going to happen until they're able to find a different herd, which will be talked about. The young boars stay with the sows until 1 to 2 years, but sometimes they form their own groups. Older boars, more than 3 to 4 years, live solitary. Boars are loners and roam larger areas than the sow family groups. When the sows are in heat, the boars seek the sow herds, and then there are often fights between different boars. Pigs interact closely with other group members. They nose one another, often lie together. Pigs always lie close to their mothers, even when it is warm. So this is just showing the family dynamic inside of these social groups. Within groups, pigs form stable social structures, which are maintained with little aggressive behavior. The dominance hierarchy is a result of the interaction of a number of factors. The dominant animals direct most of their aggression to the rank immediately below. So, grandma messes with mom messes with kids, but they don't go upwards very often. And usually the larger pig is going to mess with the smaller pig, but not vice versa. Within sow groups, older animals are dominant over younger ones, and in young animals, there's a strong relationship between size and dominant status. And there you go. The social organization of groups includes the establishment of various friendly relationships and social hierarchy. The size of a group and the space allocated to it are important for social hierarchy to function properly. And with this, they mean the larger the area, the better. Pigs are sustained from large area with variance in ecosystem. So again, they can live anywhere, in fields, in forests, in dry areas. However, as long as there is food to be had and there's large amounts of land to traverse, they are happy and they are less likely to become aggressive towards one another. Now we're going to look at the domesticated pig side of this social structure. The same herd behavior as in wild boars is reported from domesticated pigs kept in large enclosures. Outdoor agonistic behavior, or fighting behavior, that's what agonistic means, is seldom a problem. A pig outdoors seldom seeks to feed close to the head of another pig, which, if you know pigs, if they feed close to each other, that can become a cause for problem. They might bite each other's ears, bite each other's snouts, and cause a fight whenever their heads are close to each other. On condition that they have enough space and that the environment otherwise fulfills basic biological demands, is not barren, pigs kept indoors in groups, as a rule, develop a stable social hierarchy. Within a stable group, agonistic behavior occurs mainly in connection with feeding. In domestic pigs, however, dominance relationships are less stable than in cattle. So you're going to see in this book as we go through more chapters. The characteristics, or we're going to dabble and look at other social hierarchies through other animals, and cattle can be a very good indicator of how stable a group is. So just remember that for later, if you guys go into other animal episodes with me. Alright, we're going to go into communication, the wild boar. Pigs' social communication is performed via acoustics, olfactory, and visual signals, and there is much social communication by vocalization. So, they talk to each other, they smell each other, and they look at each other. That's what all of their communication is going towards. The olfactory signals are used for recognizing group members. The members of the group must be capable of prompt recognition of each other. Sensory clues such as olfactory stimuli or smell, that's what olfactory means, smell stimulus, are involved in the maintenance of the social structure. By visual and olfactory cues, pigs in an established group are quickly able to recognize an alien in the group. So that is the biggest reason why pigs must talk to each other and promptly know which pig is theirs, and they will also know from smell, by sight, and by sound which pig is which in a wild setting, in an outdoor setting, is incredibly important for safety. Vocal social communications ranges from contact grunts to warning calls and screams when attacked. Important vocal contacts are the grunting repertoire the sow emits at suckling. So this communication starts immediately from birth. Other examples are the grunts emitted by group members when seeking for food, as well as warning signals when predators are approaching. The domesticated pig. In groups, maintaining bodies, vocal and visual contact with other pigs. There exists a very intricate vocal communication between sow and piglets during suckling. This is described under the heading vocalization and acoustical communication. So again, it's talking about how communication for pigs starts immediately with mom telling them where to go for food and that she is the one providing it. Behavior synchronization. First, the wild boar. Even if pigs are not as gregarious an animal as sheep and cattle, they show an obvious behavior or behavioral synchronization, and also a following behavior when danger threatens. Oestrus is highly synchronized. So oestrus is being in heat. In wild boar females within a group, but not necessarily between groups. So if there are multiple groups nearby each other in the same foraging area of pigs, they will not sync up. They will not go into heat at the same time. However, an interpersonal group, that 2 to 4 sow group and their female children, their gilts, will go into heat at the same time, most likely. And then with domestic pigs, when kept in groups, the domesticated pigs show the same behavior. Oestrus synchronization, similar to that in wild boar females, is also seen in domesticated sows kept in groups. Dominance features an agonistic behavior. With wild boars, as in some other species, the subdominant animal lowers its head, so submission. The subdominant or underling is going to lower its head whenever the dominant sow comes through, or even boar. It turns it aside and thus shows submission when a dominant individual is approaching. Aggression between piglets hardly ever occurs in nature or under semi-natural conditions. However, domesticated pigs, if two piglets in a litter have selected and settled on the same teat after parturition or being birthed, there often arises an intense fight between the two. Such aggression can go on for days and even weeks, and they often inflict face and ear wounds on each other. The screams of aggression can disturb milk ejection, especially in nervous sows. So what they're talking about is in domestic situations, or most commonly in indoor paddocks with first-time mothers, or poor situations, this food aggression between piglets will happen. And on top of it, it can and will become worse if there is, if a nervous mother is having issues. She will not be able to dispense or give milk as easily as it would be in a more calming area, and can and will lead into piglet aggression and damaging of themselves. If unacquainted pigs are mixed, fighting starts immediately. Fights for dominance between non-adult animals are normally won by the bigger animal. When weaned piglets from two litters are put together in a limited space with few environmental stimulus available, the agonistic behavior soon begins and can go on for days. So what they're talking about is if you have multiple litters that you are dealing with as a farmer, and you wean and put all the piglets together in one corral, and they haven't been together before. They were not raised together in a full sow pen, a full birthing pen with multiple sows being together, and these litters being together throughout the beginning of their lives. They're all separated. And then you put them together. They're going to throw piggy hands until they get a dominant system worked out. However, if they are given more available total area with straw provided for explorative behavior, the frequency of agonistic behavior may not always be reduced, but its intensity and duration will lessen. So, making sure, because there are going to be cases where you can't have a sow nursery, basically. Like, you can't have all your sows together to give birth together and raise their piglets together. That can't happen. Or a lot of times. I shouldn't say it can't happen, because it does all the time. But for some people, it doesn't work that way, especially if they breed their sows a little bit in between times. So it's just a little bit off. The litters are just a little bit off. So making sure that they have enough space to rummage around and be apart from each other, and give them stimulus with straw and toys, because yes, pigs like balls, like rubber big balls. Like, if you've ever gone to a feed store and you saw the horse play ball, pigs like those too. They're like dog toys even. So if you really have a problem with pigs needing something to do, throw a stick in there. Make sure that they have good amounts of hay and give them something to do. The frequency and intensity of the exploration behavior increases with rooting, biting, and chewing the straw. The signs of imminent aggression in pigs are a short moment of distinct eye fixation on the opponent at the same time as the ears are twisted forward and upwards. The next moment, there's going to be violence. It's rapid. If it is an adult animal, often a very dangerous bite. So, if two pigs walk into the same area and stare each other down, their ears will flop forward and they will then run at each other and smack into each other and they will bite at each other. And this, if they're adults mainly, can cause various damage because their bites are so horrendously terrifying that they will tear into each other and can cause gaping wounds. They can cause infection later. They can rip each other's ears off. It's crazy. Adult boars use their tusks, causing flesh wounds. Aggression is practically always, irrespective of the age of the animals, accompanied by loud screams with both the combatants. So basically, pigs are going to fight no matter how old they are. If they're feeling aggressive and angsty, they're going to go at each other. Aggressive boars champ their jaws, causing the tusks to clack, and great amounts of foaming saliva can be generated. So they're getting their war face on. They're getting into that angry place. If a sow with piglets or a sick and injured sow or boar is showing signs of aggression against a person, it can quickly develop to a violent biting attack. Thus, it is important for the stockman and the veterinarian to be familiar with these signs. And I love that they put this at the very end as an acknowledgement of why we are talking about these behavioral signs. Agonistic or fighting signs are probably one of the biggest things that you need to, as a farmer, look into to keep yourself and your other pigs safe. Most of the time, fighting can be taken away completely if they have enough food, enough space, enough things to keep them occupied, and always making sure that they feel safe and they're not injured. The largest time that I've seen pigs go after people is when it is one, the sows are in heat and boars are going after people. There isn't enough food or water or a sizable place for them to just be. If there's been aggression against a pig and you don't go near your pigs very much and familiarize your pigs to you, and also, in general, if a pig is hurt, that is a huge one. Because animals will not allow you to get the upper hand on them. If they feel injured, impaired, or unsafe at all, they will come after you. They will take the fight to you to make sure that they stay safe. On the other hand, most animals will retreat first before becoming aggressive. Pigs, boars in general, will less so have that kind of behavior. They usually take the fight to you first. However, having these signs, understanding these behaviors will help and aid you to make sure that you will not have a dangerous moment in the future. All right. This is going to be the last section for today, talking about behavior in case of danger or peril. With wild boars, when pigs are frightened, they emit a short, strong alarm sound and stand still for a very short moment, looking in the direction from which they have identified the threat. They then usually take flight at a gallop in a direction away from the threat. However, after a while, the curiosity of the pig often gets them to stop, turn towards the supposed threat, and even approach warily. Pigs can communicate danger by the use of smell. Thus, a stressed pig releases alarm substances in its urine that can be detected by other individuals as a signal warning of danger. So, first things first, they are going to see and immediately shout to the awareness of perceived danger. They will then run away. However, if they feel like they're not in danger after a moment, they will turn around and they will look at whatever was possibly coming after them, because they are incredibly curious. Now, the stress hormone that is released into their body will communicate through their pee, them urinating on the ground. And this is good for the herd because they will be able to smell it, because their snout is one of their main ways of communication. Again, that's why pig noses are so sensitive. And if other pigs are around, they will be able to smell that signal and book it if they need to. Anti-predatory behavior involves hiding and running, but sows and boars may fight back with biting. Screams by piglets or adults may elicit assistance from the mother or other group members. If attacked, grown-up boars use their tusks and can thereby cause serious injuries. Now, with domesticated pigs, especially if not familiar with humans, as often is the case in large fattening units, shows exactly the same alarm and fight behavior or flight behavior as wild boars if frightened. Adrenaline levels are significantly higher during squeals and screams than in other calls. And that, my friends, is the end of episode 2. And thus we have learned the innate and learned behaviors, the different social behaviors, fighting behavior, and behavior in case of danger and peril towards the pig. I hope this has helped you to learn a little bit more about pigs and to help you on your day-to-day life in learning and understanding what your pig is trying to tell you and to stay safe. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.